Welcome back, everybody. So, we are ready to do our first program in Java. But before I get into that, I do want to explain a little bit about programming. Now, programming basically means to create or develop software or a program. Now, the software contains instructions that tell a computer or a computer device, so it doesn't have to be a computer, but a device that can use computed values, you can say, what it needs to do. So it tells the software tells the device what it needs to do. Now, software, if you pay attention, it's almost in everything around you. For example, something as simple as a toaster has software in it, kind of, because of the timer and all that stuff. Or even your gaming controller. Now, the biggest thing is the computer is filled with software. So, in order to develop the software, we use what we call programming languages such as Java, C++, Python. Not really Python, but all kinds of different programming languages. In this series, we're going to learn Java. Now, if you can learn or master one language, it's really easy to grasp other language as long as you understand the logic behind the programming. Now, with that said, let's get started with creating our first program. So I have Eclipse open here. So this was a tutorial that I had done before with JPanel. We're not going to get to that yet. We're going to go ahead and do a new project. So right-click New Java Project, and we'll call it First Project. All right, we'll give it perfect. Okay, I'm just going to click Finish so it creates it up. Okay, setting build paths. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to go ahead and click source and do new, and we're going to put a new class in there, which is going to be basically our main class. We'll call it what should we call it? So I want to make the naming convention a little bit easy, so alright, whatever. We're gonna call it first project. Alright, before I finish, I'm going to go ahead and, well, actually, I'll type that up for you guys so you know what's going on. There's a way to include, like, classes in there by default, but I won't check that. So this is our class. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to create our first method in the class, which is going to be our main method. Now I'm just going to write it out, and then I'll explain everything once I have it written out. So we're going to call it a public static void main, and we're going to give it a parameter here, string. Now if you're completely new, this might be a little bit confusing, but just stick along with me here. I'll explain everything once I have it written out. So here's our class. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to print something on the screen. Okay? So let's print something out to the screen. Rather the screen, it would be more accurate to say console. Okay, so we're going to print out, let's see, system.out. Oops, system froze a little bit. It was loading the, okay, print line. Oops, we don't want print, we want print line. Okay, now we're going to feed it the parameter, and that's going to be a string value. So we'll write, hello, how do you like my first program? Well, it should be a question mark, right? There we go. So this is basically the program, and I can build it and run it by clicking this button here. And when I build it, so this is basically a very simple software that we just developed, you can say, and it just prints something to the console. And as you can see, it prints right here, hello, how do you like my first program? So we told the computer to print that to the console in a way. We really used our ID, but it's fine. So we told our program and it printed it. So now I'm just going to give you a breakdown of what everything here is. So now if we look at the first line here, or the second line, you get what I mean. The second line, public class first project. Now here we're basically defining a class. Now all Java programs must have at least one class. Okay? So, and a class must have a name. So in our case, we named it first project. All right. Now, usually it is standard to have a class name start with a uppercase letter. So that's why I put capital F and then capital P. So first project. All right, so that's pretty much it for the class. So this is our mandatory class that must exist. Now, if we look at the third line here, this is our method, and it's the main method. Now, the program itself is executed from the main method. In one class, you can have several main methods. Not several main methods, you can have several methods. All right, but this is the one main method in the class. But you can have several different methods that do different things. The main method itself is actually the beginning point where execution started. So when the program runs, it starts from the main program automatically. That's how it works. All right, so we're looking here, third line, perfect. Okay, now if we move along, we can see that the main method, we have a system. Let me highlight it for you guys. System.out.println statement. Now we call that a statement here. What we're typing out, system.out.println, and the statement itself displays a string to the console. Now the string is basically a series of letters or series of characters put together. One letter or one character is a character in Java, and then a series of them are strings. So in this case, we're displaying a string. So as you can see on line 5, we're indicating the system to print out the line, hello, how do you like my first program? So that's what that's doing. Now, yes, I explained string. You guys get all that. Very good. Now, every statement that you put in Java must end with a semicolon. So this is what indicates to the program that this is a statement terminator. So it terminates the statement. Okay, so now we do have some reserved words to consider in this program. Now the reserved words, I'll go into detail a little bit later, but for example, some reserved words in here would be the word class, and then we have public, we have static, void. So those are some reserved words. Now if you look at line 4 here, I also wrote something there, and I wrote it on purpose to show you what a comment looks like. So now a comment, when the program is running, is ignored. So this is just for example, me. If I'm developing an application, I can put this as a hint for me, or if somebody else is reading my code, to make it easier for them to understand what I'm writing. So that's why I would print something on the console, and then I wrote the actual statement that does the print. So these two forward slashes are what indicate a comment. Now you can do a longer comment by doing the following. So if I type in /* long comment blah 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 blah. So all of this is actually not going to be part of the program when it runs. It's just a comment for someone to read in the code. So that's how that works. Let me leave that there. I don't know why I deleted it, but okay, there we go. So that's what a comment is. Now another thing to consider, since we are breaking down the code completely, would be, to close this off, you got to do the * // Alright, sorry, I forgot to mention that, but this is how the long comment works. Okay, now moving along, another very important part of the program itself, are these curly brackets. Now, the brackets themselves actually form a block of code. So for example, you can see this is the starting bracket for my class, and it ends here. So in this case, this whole portion would be my class block, from this bracket to this bracket. Now if we move down on line 3, this bracket ends with this bracket. So everything in here is basically the method block or the function block, because it's this bracket here and this bracket here is reserving this portion for the main method. So this is a method block, and then this is a class block. So that's how that works. Now, I just wanted to mention that because it is important to understand all aspects of the code here. So that's for that. Now we have the opening and closing brackets, and then we have parentheses, which basically parameters are fed into if the method itself takes any parameters. In this case, main takes this parameter here, which is a string, and then we have any string that you're indicating must be put into quotes like this. So that's why I have those quotes there, opening and closing quotes. And then, you know, for the semicolon is to terminate the actual statement line. Okay, terminate the statement rather, I should say. Now we're going to continue on just to show you a little bit more. We're going to print multiple messages onto the screen. So we're going to leave our first one, and then we're going to print out another one here. I'm just going to copy this. Copy. Okay, let's paste it here. It didn't work. It didn't work. Okay, here we go. Okay, whatever. It's not copying and pasting for me here. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Let's do it the long way. Copy and double click that, and then we're gonna paste. Okay, now we're gonna print out a second line here. Well, this is awesome. Learning Java. Okay, so that's our second line. Now you're seeing this red indicator here because the IDE I'm using, Eclipse, is telling me there's a syntax error here. Now the syntax error is that we're not terminating the statement, and we must. So we're going to add the semicolon there, and then we're going to print out our next line here, and we're going to say, whoa, third line already. Okay, so now if I run this code, so I basically added 3 statements to my method block. Now when I run the program, it's going to automatically go into the main method and run these statements sequentially. So it'll print this first, then this, then this. So I'm going to hit print. Not print, I mean run. And look at that. So we got hello, blah, 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 blah. Alright, so it's printing out the 3 lines. So that's pretty much it for this program. Please give this a shot. Make sure you're able to do this. You know, it's really cool, you know, if you're learning Java, and this will be an exciting first step for you if you haven't done this before. But this is basically it for our first project. So I am going to be doing my next tutorial on computing expressions in Java, such as math, addition, you know, subtraction, multiplication, all that stuff. So it'll be quite fun. So please join me for the next video, which will be up soon. And please give me a like if you enjoyed this video. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with the videos that are going to be coming out. And I'll see you guys next time.